Nation. Steelers GM Kevin Colbert said that all signs are good for quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. Big Ben suffered a season-ending elbow injury in Week 2 versus Seattle. Without Big Ben in the pocket, the Steelers not only missed the playoffs, but finished 31st in passing. Roethlisberger turns 38 next month and is expected to make a complete recovery. Greg Jennings, can Big Ben get the Steelers back to the postseason?
Yes, he can. He can. And before I even go off into why and how he can, let me talk about their head coach and Mike Tomlin. Because as much as we've kind of been on his case about the handlings of the locker room and all of these things, this guy just doesn't, he does not lose. The one thing that he does is win. He's the coach that constantly wins when it matters. And we looked at this team last year and we said, oh, Ben got hurt. No Antonio Brown, no Le'Veon Bell. This team is done. Ben goes down, Pouncey goes down, James Conner gets hurt, Juju Smith-Schuster gets hurt.
Did they make the playoffs?
And they didn't make the playoffs, but they're 8-8. Even Rudolph goes down at some point in the season, and they find a way to win. And so now you tell me, Jason, Rob, I get Ben back? One of the top 7 quarterbacks in the league right now, currently as it stands, I get that back with healthy guys around me, with James Conner, with Juju, and hopefully they can add some other receivers, some skilled guys to help them out. This is a playoff team. In that division, the only team that ran away from them was the Baltimore Ravens, and we saw what they look like. The Pittsburgh Steelers, defensively intact, as one of the best defenses in all of football. When you talk about J.J. Watt and what Minkah Fitzpatrick added to that secondary, they are special. They understand who they are. They have an identity. Big Ben is a part of what they want to do moving forward, at least for the foreseen future. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was impressed with how they played without Ben Roethlisberger last year. The fact that they were competitive. And again, Mike Tomlin deserves a ton of credit because of that. And when you look at their division, yes, do they have the Baltimore Ravens to compete against? 100%. But everyone else on that AFC conference, I can see Pittsburgh getting back into the playoffs, and large in part because of Big Ben and all the heroics that we've seen him afford that team over the course of his career.
I'm out on Big Ben.
I knew you would be
I'm
out.
shocked.
In fact, I would take Uncle Ben over Big Ben at this point from the rice box. Yes.
We know who Uncle Ben is.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I thought you was Uncle Ben when I first met you.
The numbers, I mean, Greg, I know you're romanticizing with the past of Big Ben, but the numbers speak for themselves. 2017, 2018, those 2 years, Big Ben had the most interceptions in the NFL. Since he won Super Bowl 43, Ben Roethlisberger, 5-6 record, 15 touchdowns, 14 turnovers. 86 quarterback rating in the playoffs. He's been awful, right? So you can go ahead and say, oh, yeah, they were competitive last year because Ben wasn't playing. You're right. They were more competitive. People are living in the past on him. No AB, no Le'Veon Bell. You already said that. I'm not buying in. You know what? I think you could cast him for Grizzly Adams. I saw the video with the big beard and everything. I think that here's you just talked about the division. With Lamar, and even if the Browns can somehow get it together or whatever, I just don't see Pittsburgh as viable, even with an older, what'd you say, he's 38 or 50?
38.
38. I'm looking through, and the numbers just don't match up. Okay. Sometimes you gotta break away and look at a situation and say, maybe we need to, with some of the younger guys, go in a different route or move forward. Big Ben, his numbers-wise, when he's been healthy over the last few years, are not good.
That's interesting. So Big Ben is awful. So then, Greg, I guess, what do we make of Duck Hodges, the third-string quarterback last year for Pittsburgh?
Your other quarterback, I'm just telling you.
I ordered a pizza last night.
I gave you these numbers.
Duck Hodges delivered a pizza to my house last night. That's how bad he was with the Steelers.
Greg, did you know the numbers with his bad?
Mason Rudolph
I'm asking you. Did you know the numbers with his bad?
Do you know how much of an upgrade that is?
Oh, you don't want to look at the number.
And Rob, you're missing this. Football is not just offense. It's also this thing called defense. And guess what the Steelers were in, according to Football Outsiders, number 3 in the NFL. 3rd against the rush, 3rd against the pass. That's how they were 8-8. But then you throw in Duck Hodges, throwing these ducks up there. If you watch that Buffalo Bills game, like, I don't know how you can even sign that guy on the roster again, okay? The Pittsburgh Steelers, as Greg Jennings said, are a playoff team next year. 100% lock it up. It's happening.
I didn't pick them to be a playoff team last year, and I'm not so quick with Ben coming back to think that they're automatically going to be in the playoff hunt again.
Another reason why I would say is Big Ben we've questioned his leadership. Even with Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, we've always
He's admitted that he wasn't the best leader.
My point. He didn't get a chance to really be the leader that he wanted to become and be for that team last year. And I think sitting out a full season practically, it bodes well for him at this place at this stage in his career at 38 years old. He went a whole year being unscathed. So we know how smart he is. We know his ability. Can he stay healthy? And then can he lead the right way with a young team, with guys that they're putting around him, and show them how to win? Because he has won. So he knows what it looks like, because he has experience with what it looks like. He's done it. So I like Ben. I don't care about those numbers. I know what he provides me.
That's because you like him, but I'm talking about, shouldn't stats count when you look at a guy? I'm asking you.
The thing about stats, we can all make stats.
No. The most 30 touchdowns, interceptions, the most.
How about this, Greg? Stats are like a bikini. They show a lot, but they don't show everything. Big Ben is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He wasn't great 2 years ago. It wasn't outstanding. But as Greg said, top 10 quarterback in the league. And how come what do you have against old people, Rob? Let me ask you. You want out with Tom Brady. You want to dump Drew Brees, and now you're saying Big Ben's old.
You want me to show you my AARP chart?
Show it to me.
I'll show it to you.
Give some love to the old guys.
Let me explain to you how this works. If you're an opponent and you're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, let's say you're playing them last year, and you look at their offense. You're on the defensive roster of the opposing team, and you're looking at their offense. You have players that you have to watch. How many players did they have to watch out for on the Pittsburgh Steelers offense last year? Not many. Not many. Why? Juju was in and out of the lineup. So if he was in, Juju Smith-Schuster. Stop Juju Smith-Schuster and James Conner. Let your quarterback win. Let's see if the quarterback Mason Rudolph can beat us. Or as he said, Duke delivering the pieces.
I get all that.
But when you insert Ben Roethlisberger, everything now changes for a defense because of all those numbers that you're talking about and everything that we've known him to be able to do. We know he can still potentially do those things. So we're concerning ourselves with a quarterback that can extend the play better than anyone we've seen and then still get the ball down the field and be effective. That's what makes them so different when you have a quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger inserted in an offense that was struggling because of a lack of quarterback play.
But also, you can't be afraid to move away from people. This is what people do. They like something that's familiar, even though they haven't had success. And I'm talking about with AB and Le'Veon Bell. Were they winning Super Bowls? With the
they did win a Super Bowl. Big Ben won a Super Bowl.
I'm not with AB.
No, he did not.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Antonio Brown's all of a sudden the greatest receiver ever?
He has 6 of the greatest years ever put together by a receiver. My point is, when you look at it, there's nothing to move on from Ben. When I'm giving you his 5 and 6 in the playoffs, 15 touchdowns and 14 turnovers.
You know they were losing.
That's Big Ben's number.
I don't have the exact losses.
Those are good numbers.
The opponent, and probably most of those, is the New England Patriots, the greatest dynasty in NFL history. I'm sorry that Belichick outcoached Mike Tomlin every single time they match up.
Is that
you're
what it was?
Pin it all on Big Ben.
Or did Big Ben didn't play well?
Well, Belichick's a great defensive guy.
Did he play well against the Patriots?
Combination of both.
He was awful.
Belichick did the same thing to Peyton Manning. He's a great coach, man.
But you extended Ben Roethlisberger knowing that, okay, we have time to develop Mason Rudolph or find our guy. And they believe that Mason Rudolph can potentially be that guy. But as of right now, they know that we can still wring some more of this, whatever's left in Ben Roethlisberger, out. And let's see if it works. If it doesn't, we're not tied to him long term.
Oh, I get it.
So we don't have to throw him away and cast him away.
Could you see him getting, if he gets off to a slow start or say, they struggle early on, of them maybe making a move like during the season?
No.
Or no? Would have to play it all the way
No,
out?
he would have to be downright terrible for them to make a move. But I don't see him being that bad. And when you look at what Mason Rudolph didn't provide them, he didn't show enough to where they're going to be so quick to pull the trigger on Ben Roethlisberger because they want to start the future of their franchise with Mason Rudolph. He didn't look that good.
Now, I'll give you this. If they go out and draft a quarterback, say in the 2nd or 3rd round this year, because what they saw from Rudolph and Duck Hodges they didn't like, I'll give you that. Maybe there is a plan. But right now, it's Big Ben's job.
Yeah, I think that they should look at that as you go forward. You have to evaluate because he's not going to be there that long. And if he has another,
Tom Brady's 42. Drew Brees is what, 40,
I don't look at him. I don't look at Ben the same way I look at Tom.
He
Brady.
doesn't have the same workout ethic as Tom Brady. That's for sure.
I don't buy that.
There's a point for Rob Parker. Coming up next, will the Clippers' injury issues keep them from getting past the Lakers come playoff time? Doug Gottlieb weighs in. Stick around.
Dougie.